guys to the G&T Show. In today's episode, we are going to talk about the proper selection of sample cups for your XRF needs. So notice here in front of me, I have all these types of sample cups.
Well, that's quite an assortment of cups you got there.
Well, that's because there are a lot of vendors out there with lots of different types of cups. But what I want to stress about in today's episode is selecting the proper cup for your material and your system and what your needs are.
Yeah, I'm sure that you're going to have some too, like that some people just aren't aware of. So.
All right, let's start with the simplest scenario here where you have plenty of, ground up powder samples or a large amount of liquid samples. So that's probably you're going to be using the standard size 40 millimeter sample cups, either this size or this size. Plenty of vendors out there. It doesn't matter who you pick as long as you know the dimensions of your cups. You also have your other size, which is the 32 millimeter if you don't have enough sample. If you have much less sample, let's say 500 milligrams or less, there are cups out there that are called the funnel cups. They look like this. Inside it actually looks like it funnels down, so that's why it's a funnel cup. But notice the ID of the opening here. This is like a 6 millimeter, this is a 10, and this is a 15 millimeter. So depending on the amount of material, you want to make sure you center it down inside the cup. That's why the funnel cups are great if you have a lot less amount. Okay, another important thing to consider is you got to make sure you put the correct film on your cup assembly. Also, pick the correct film type. So, because every film has some type of impurity in there, so if you're analyzing for that particular trace material or element, don't pick that film that has that element in there.
Right, we'll do another episode on just film choice, right? That'll kind of help with that. But.
Yes. Make sure when you make the cup that it's taut, there's no tears in there, it's not wrinkly. If it is, remake it. Very simple to do. All right, so I have 3 here that's already made with the films in place. Another thing you want to make sure of is if you have the sample holder for your sample cups, you got to make sure it clears the top of the cup. So for instance here, I have 2 different types of cups here. Okay, so if I put this one in, if you notice, I'm going to hold it up to the camera here, it's above the sample holder here. It's not going to clear, so you're probably may get an error on your system. It'll tell you that, right? Versus using this other cup where it's lower, it's below it, right? So this is what you want to make sure of, clearance. All right, now, if I have a funnel cup here, and you have small amounts of sample, obviously you don't want to be analyzing the plastic here of the sample cup. So if you have a opening like this, right, you're going to be seeing that plastic here.
Now, if you absolutely have to and you don't have that smaller aperture or diaphragm in your system, you have no choice. And if you have cups, and you can check the cups for impurities, and that can be okay. But if you have the option to put it one with a smaller diameter, like what Tun's showing here, then it's going to cut down on the background that you're going to have. You're still going to see the same amount of intensity from the actual elements in there. You won't see impurities from the cup, and you're going to get lower background. So that's how you want to kind of set these things up.
Yes. Also, make sure you're selecting the correct aperture, your diaphragm within your software.
Exactly.
All right. Same thing with the Quantex. If you're doing this, you want to change out the collimator to match this,
and then,
so
of course,
that
you're
only
centering
analyzing.
rings.
Right. Right. Even though you're seeing all this plastic here, if you put in the correct collimator for this, then you will only see the center of that. Right, just to recap some key points here is to make sure you select the proper film choice, know your OD and ID so that you can input that into the software if necessary. Don't fill the entire cup with your sample, leave some headspace.
Yeah, good point. Make sure because when you put these things in the instrument, they do heat up some, and you want to leave room for expansion and know that there's volatiles that are going to be coming out too.
And then there's also on the top of these caps here, there's these little holes. They're called vent caps so that they can vent your sample. You don't want to put another film on top of this because it can create pressure. Again, run your liquids in helium atmosphere, okay? And also, if you are worried about sample leaking, if you're running a liquid that you're unsure of, make this sample cup, put the liquid inside here. And what I do is I like to just let it sit on like a Kim wipe and see if there's any leaks. If there are, then maybe that film is not the correct choice for you, or you're leaking, you need to remake your sample cup. Okay, and final thing is, again, make sure you have clearance for your sample cup inside your sample holder. We hope you found this episode useful. Let us know what you think, and remember to click the like button. See you next time.